He came in the afternoon sometime to do that.
So Thursday afternoon?
I think so.
That's fine.
It wasn't Friday.
Anybody get the oil change?
Yes, he took me back to Knoxville to get the oil changed on it, and he left his car on campus. But I didn't have a use for it because I wasn't at class. It might have been Friday. It was Thursday or Friday he came to do that. But he left his car on campus, but he took his keys with him. So I didn't even go to the car because it only took an hour. He brought my car back, we switched out again, and that's when he got on the road. He's got an extra to my car that he used. I kept my keys on me because I didn't keep my door. So he used the spare key for my car and he kept everything else on him and switched out the car.
Gotcha. So roughly about what time did he tell you the next year that you live up in Illinois?
I can say.
Oh, it was at night?
No, it was like right after we switched cars. It was 5 or 10 minutes after we switched.
Okay. Do you know what kind of gun it was?
I've only seen the gun one time, and I didn't even see the whole thing. The first time I saw, well, I guess 2 times. I saw it when I was younger because he showed me, because I found it one time under the bed. He just told me what it was. And the second time was last weekend. It was Saturday, I think. It was poking out from under the bed. It was right after, may not have been last Saturday, it was our last game on the season in Greensboro. And it's when they got back, that's why it was under his day, so, because he took it out, because they didn't take his car. And I saw it poking out from under the bed, so I just pushed it back under.
That's the last time you saw the gun?
Yes, under the bed, I pushed it right back under. The only other time that I've ever seen or touched a gun was when I was early high school, maybe late middle school.
Can you describe again to me?
Looks like a police gun.
You know what caliber it is?
I don't know anything about it. I just know it looks like a police gun and it's black.
Is it a big gun or?
Average or small, it's a handgun.
Is it, you know, the difference of a revolver and an automatic?
Like a semi-automatic? Yeah. Revolver's got the chambers in it. This will use what equipment.
So what, was it a revolver or semi-automatic? So it's a magazine and killing?
I know whenever, however long ago he first showed me the gun, because I found that he wanted to explain what it was, he let me hold the magazine and like see the bullets and stuff like that.
Do you remember what that bullets were?
Bullets,
You know anything about bullets? You know, there's just a hollow point and ball ammunition.
Our hollow points are the ones that are like, they don't have a tip on them.
Correct.
Yeah, I know the difference, but I don't know what kind to use.
Favorite shotgun?
Shotgun.
What was that?
Yeah, you're Thanksgiving. Me and my uncle go down to, I don't even know what part of the city is like now, but they said we had a turkey shoot based on the targets and the shoot.
Cool.
And it's just a 22.
Turkey shoot with uncle?
Uncle and some of the other folks like that did.
Have you ever shot a handgun? Do you know how do you you know how you load a revolver versus a semi-automatic? I mean, you tell me obviously one's got a cylinder and the other's got a magazine.
I've never personally helped you do it, but I've seen how you do it. I know with the revolver, you have to, there's something you have to like press and push out the cylinder and you just load it in. And then you got another clip. I've never actually done it. I just kind of keep the bullets and clip and put the clip on the gun.
You know what brand your grandpa's name was? Smith West and Block, anything like that?
His box is around the table. He has a box for it. He got out the box today because it's active. I saw that.
Gotcha.
So that's what it is.
You said you don't know what caliber it is? Getting out of here?
I don't remember the
Big bullets, little bullets?
I've never seen them. Well, when I play with them, but when he showed me, I was younger, but maybe like I did. I don't remember.
So it was you and your grandfather, when you saw the dinner last and all that, it was your grandfather there?
The last time I saw it, when I saw it, it was just, I was going upstairs, saw it closing out. Because before, my little sister found it. She found it under the bed when she was really young. And I've been here maybe that's all slow down. She found it again and realized she wasn't supposed to mess with it or something like that. So I just put it back under the bed.
Have you ever shot your grandmother then?
No, never shot her.
Did you say you never shot anything? Any time?
Only shot her.
Have you ever, and I don't mean now this time, but have you ever taken your granddaughter's gun? Did not take the chill blood or anything right back in the office? Do you have any idea where your grandfather's office is?
I asked him if he had bought the car before he left off campus to switch our cars, and he told me he thought he did, but the only thing he could think of was maybe he pressed the wrong button or something like that.
And he reported you got stolen and all that stuff. So where's the guns get at?
I'm assuming someone stole it, but I wouldn't think of him misplaced something like that.
Sure. Where would you think the gun stolen?
I wouldn't know if it's something if he didn't want the car, someone wanted to just come up and look. But at the same time, they didn't take anything else if they only stole that car. I don't know. Not to my knowledge.
This weekend when you was driving, you got, what kind of car you got?
Honda Accord.
Honda Accord. You drive that this weekend?
Yes.
Does anybody ever get their vehicle this weekend at all? Joe, just taking your friends anywhere or anything? Nobody in the vehicle at all, so
Yeah.
like Friday night, Saturday night, Sunday night.
Saturday night, when I was at Noah's, I left this out, I'm sorry. He and him went down to the gas station.
You and who?
Me and no. Yeah, because I was parked behind him in the driveway, so he took my car down the hallway. And he was just taking the cigars. Right mom.
I'm sorry, which gas station?
And Noah be the only one of the Alex or is there anybody that were in the vehicle this weekend? You all be guns or anything, do you? No. And you got shotguns, do you think?
The only guns in the family are my uncles and my grandfathers.
I think those are my own one, or you think?
You said you and Noah went in your car to the island on Broadway,
Yes.
and that was Saturday night?
Yes.
Do you remember what time?
It was late.
Ballpark?
12.
At midnight?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I know it was super late. But it wasn't late, like early morning late.
What about Friday night? Did you go over everything about Friday night video?
Now I stay at his house. We stay in his house.
And what about Sunday night?
Sunday now. I had, with my grandparents, got food at the came at his house, slept till 11.
Tell me what you know about Emma's passing. I was down on murder and speculation. What have you heard?
I tried to continue on without getting the hurt some different things. I heard she just passed in her sleep. I heard she tried to commit suicide. I heard a stray bullet came to the wall, but that made no sense to me because her room, if a stray bullet hit the wall from, it would have to be from the backyard because that's where her work is. I don't know, that don't really make sense to me, but those are the main three.
You lost me, so why did you say that they come from the back of the house?
I'm saying they said it was straight bullet hit like her room.
Okay.
So I'm saying if that was how she died, I don't know how she died, but I'm saying if that rumor was true, it couldn't hit front of the house because that's not where her room is. I'm saying it would have to be.
I think that's how I understand. Where is your room? I'm assuming you've been in her room at some point. Can you explain to me where her room is in the house?
If you go in the front door, there's a living room, and there's a hallway. It's the first door on the right.
So you got in the front door?
Take a left. There's a hallway.
Hallway.
It's the first door on the right.
First door on the right.
You can see it from
I didn't ask you, do you know Emma's number off the top of your head?
Yes.
Can you give it to me?
It's 712 62 46.
And that's the number you got from Max, probably, and all that stuff. Where did you, so, who have you talked to, where have you heard these rumors about passing in her sleep?
I've had a bunch of my friends visit me today in their parents' house, and they were just telling me different stuff they heard from different people.
Do you remember who told you the stray bullet?
Yeah, it was actually about an hour and G-O-D-I-N.
One more time.
G-O-O-D-I-N.
Okay, sorry, thank you. How do you know Jay?
We've been friends since second grade.
So you got to high school, you don't make football together and all this stuff.
He was doing like computer games and stuff like that. And he came by to visit me and asked me out to live and stuff.
Did he say where you heard the trade world theory?
No, he said it was second game on Tuesday. So he probably said that next time I didn't.
When's the last time you physically saw him?
Saturday morning, I don't think I wrote it.
Okay. When's the last time you talked to him?
Sunday night, I'm going.
And what time is that again?
11:45.
And you said that you and the parents don't belong that well? And that's because of, cheating on?
Cheated on her, and we had sex for the first time. We were both very into it. They found out about that, and obviously they didn't want that at all. So that's why we didn't trust us to go anywhere else and stuff like that.
Who's done that? I mean, roughly.
Maybe a year ago, something like that.
It's the answer.
The cheating thing happened early in my junior year, like 2 months after I broke up with my girlfriend, waited a month or so, started dating her. We dated for about 2 months, and then I broke up with her, but I still made it out like we were together while I was still talking to my later ex-girlfriend. So,
Who's your other ex-girlfriend?
Bonnie, Kendra,
Aggie?
yes.
So you were dating Bonnie?
I
Broke up with her?
yes,
Started dating him?
yes.
But you... Wait. Explain that to me, man.
People, him and Bonnie was called cheating, but I wasn't ever technically with either of them. I broke up with Bonnie, waited a month or so, started dating her, and I dated for 2 months. Realized that I jumped into another relationship too fast, tried to get back with her, Bonnie, but didn't actually want to leave them either. So I wasn't with either of them, but I was talking to both of them.
Yeah. But, correct me if I'm wrong, but you said you and Emma were both virgins and you all had sex together, correct? And you and Emma, you and Bonnie, correct?
I never had it. Yeah.
And you said it was about a year ago?
Yeah, somewhere.
Just that one time, did y'all have sex after that? Yeah, which one?
Yes, we did.
Had sex.
Multiple times after that.
Gotcha. I gotta ask, if the parents don't like you, don't want you around, how do you find a place and time to have sex?
We do it over in my car because we didn't have anywhere else. And every time we do it, it would usually be after football games, there were home games, because the team, everybody usually goes to Applebee's or Merchants and eats. That's like, just like the central foods after home games. And we would just
a game when y'all would meet someone to pick her up, or how did that work?
No, like, this was, well, when I was playing, I would just, she would be already out with these because she cheered, so she just went straight in the game. I would have to get dressed. But now, recently, once I graduated and played for Merritt when we were still together, when she was having all the early games that she did, we would do it after the young man. I'm lucky.
Gotcha. And did you tell me that the parents caught you?
Yeah.
Tell me about that.
They, her dad just caught us on the couch.
Okay. And they,
Not at all.
such as,
I was told to leave and not come back for her on the inside. And that was pretty recent, actually.
such as,
This was the second time he caught us. The first time he caught us was maybe that first, second, or third time doing it.
If you had to, can you think of anyone that would want to hurt Emma?
Not talking about it, because I mean, she was,
She had any enemies?
not enemies that were going to hurt her. I mean, she had high school drama enemies, but like this girl, she had life, but none of them would do that.
She can't get along with everybody, and I don't know.
Yeah, she was very likable. She didn't, and she was friends with most anybody she talked to.
Did she, the last time you talked to her, you said it was Sunday night. Did she make any comments about anybody mad at her, or upset at her, or anything hurt her?
No, but the only thing that I thought of was whoever the person was at her house Saturday morning. That's the first thing I thought of when I heard that she passed this morning.
Tell me about that Saturday morning event. What she tell you about that? Did you ever, you said it was a guy dressed all in black, right?
She said she was coming around, how I explained how you got to her house, there's a curve that comes around your house. She said she was coming around that curve, she saw a guy dressed in all black walking in the street. She said that she thought he was just like walking around the neighborhood, just taking a walk. And when she saw him in the rear view, she saw that he had a mask on, and that's when he put on the glasses and started walking past. So she got in the driveway, put in the garage, and got in there fast and closed it. And that's when she said he came up to the door, was ringing the doorbell, behind the door, trying to get in. That's when I was already halfway there, because she was freaking out the phone.
So help me out here. From where she saw the guy in the subdivision, how far was it from there to the house?
Which
To her house?
like where the guy was?
Yeah.
She didn't really describe. I mean, I would probably assume, from what she told me, probably maybe like 30 feet, something like that.
Oh, okay, so he was close to the house.
She said she pulled in the driveway, and that's when he was like walking past to the house, like he was. That's why she went into the driveway and closed it, because apparently it was closed.
You make up mom?
So the mom showed up, and there was nobody to be found.
So where do you think you got in?
I have no idea, because I didn't find anybody, and I was.
Just driving out the woods?
Yeah, I looked up down the street, but I mean, I didn't go around the neighborhood or anything like that, because I wanted to make sure that I wasn't too far that he wasn't going to just come on back on have some.
James, you have a question for me?
When the kids yelled this weekend, there were no females or anything, but they just yelled, Kendall, that maybe, and they were here. Yeah, Isaac, Noah, battles. Like we'll get together or anything like that this weekend. Did I have a girls' friend or?
Yeah, they can play. When he asked me who was there, I thought, you know, I could stay and not know this.
They didn't stay at all. Did I not stay much this weekend?
He stayed on Sunday. That was the majority of the time he stayed.
You got people that are mad at you, that are unheard you or anything?
I'm not about that.
Yeah, nobody's got kidnapped you either.
Yeah.
They have.
Yeah.
What was that about?
I don't know. I'm sorry, I just didn't want to talk about it because it was traumatizing. I didn't know what to mean with it.
And that's pretty important for us to probably know when somebody trying to get them.
But I don't know, like, I don't know anything about it.
I mean, I don't know that my friends were worried. If somebody's going to kidnap you, maybe you might need a weapon to be with you in case somebody is trying to kidnap you. You know what I mean? I mean, if somebody's trying to kidnap me, I'm going to protect myself. You know what I'm saying?
When did this alleged kidnapping take place? Friday. This past Friday. When did that happen?
I don't remember much about it. From the two guys, literally, I was Friday night before I got to, went to my stepdad's house, and I pulled in the driveway, and this van pulled across the Eastern Central, and these two guys were like walking across the street. I didn't think anything of it because they weren't like in a rush. And I turned around, I get in my car next thing I know, one of them grabs my bag, the other one's around the corner, and they just like put their hands over my face and just took me to their van or whatever.
And then what happened?
I don't remember much. They just had me, I couldn't see anything. They had something over my eyes. I hadn't told my mom or anybody about this.
Oh, really? Wow.
Everybody.
Wow.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I mean, why would I do it?
I really had no idea.
So, when you ain't earning money, you gamble, days, you gamble. So these guys just randomly picked you out for no reason.
Yes, they told me, they did ask me, they were like, who do you want to talk to for the last time? And so I said, for Daniel, and I said, Emma. And they made me call him, and she wouldn't answer my phone multiple times, so they used their phone. And I was just crying and saying that she thought it was a joke, she thought it was playing prank on her.
So you actually talked to him when it happened?
Not really, like I was telling, like she said like a couple words to me. I didn't even get to talk before she was just like, she's like, this is pathetic way to get me to talk to you as a friend. And I was like, I tried saying something, she hung up.
So sad you away from.
I woke up where it was.
How was that?
In front of
What was that?
Sarah Stevens' house. It's hard to testify. I literally remember that my head ached for the rest of the night when I got back home after that.
Did you tell Mother anyone?
Yeah. They thought it was messing with me. That's why I talked to him about it, because no one would take me seriously.
So did Emma see you that night after you got dropped off?
I don't remember.
But you said that you woke up at where Emma was in Sarah Seaton Jordan on Tasman Pine. So how did you get from there back home or?
No, I called him when it happened, and he didn't believe me, but he can't pick me up.
Did anybody from Sarah's house come out and see you? Did you contact anybody?
Maybe Sarah, like I said, I stood up and my head was kind of started walking down past the bike because I was freaked out and I didn't know what was going on.
So where did Noah pick you up?
Off past the bike.
Right. Was it
Close to,
where you got picked up? What's it close to on Castle Pine?
Next to the Bill Burns sign. I wasn't trying to keep this from
What is the Bill Gardens?
It's a division off Castle Park. It's just a movie song, and that's where I was maybe 20 feet away from that when I was picking up.
Let's go back to your grandfather. You have no idea what grandfather does. And you do not own a handgun, correct? You said you didn't own any kind of gun. Okay. What if I told you someone told us that they saw you with a gun? What would you think about that?
I would wonder if he said that and where they saw him with the gun.
Okay. What if someone told us that you showed them a handgun?
I would also want to know who and when I showed the gun.
Alex McCarty said that you showed him a handgun. What that was?
Went from the get together or whatever y'all were having, get some Dr. Peppers and all that stuff. I don't know what you go to the store, Alex. Yeah, I think he said, you had some bad thoughts and stuff. He's worried about you trying to be your friend. He's hired you.
And here's the thing, your grandfather's handgun being stolen, it's just that, it's your grandfather's handgun being stolen. We want to try to recover that thing, keep someone else from getting hurt. And we don't, if the gun's out there somewhere, we don't want you to use it to hurt yourself. Because they're telling us that you made comments about harming yourself.
I saw the gun myself last weekend.
Tell me about that.
We was just over here on Truck.
How'd you do that?
I took a bunch of hydrants and stole some alcohol and drank
When was that?
Sunday, last Sunday.
And what happened with that?
I called Merritt. He said he never see that one more.
So what happened? Did you admit it? Did the church release you?
They had to say the next day I was in there. I don't even know what you call it, I guess. It was some type of program. Held and I knew like these group meetings and stuff. And I told the everybody gets an individual meeting with the doctor. And I told her that he was probably going to want to harm when we stayed there was to be outside and actually get to interact with people. So he let me go with that.
Going back to Alex telling you, I mean, he's pretty very concerned about you. You understand that? You have good friends. and they're worried about you. I talked to every one of them today, so I kind of know what's going on. They're worried about you, and that says a lot for your friends, all right? I mean, but, you know, if you're going to the store, I mean, and you've had this breakup, you've got people trying to kidnap you, you know, things are going on. I mean, it's been a bad time. We understand that. We understand that. But if you, I mean, he tells you in the car, I'm your friend, I'm here for you. Is that what he says? He goes, yeah, I'm your friend.
Got back to Noah's house and we had a conversation.
And you pull out again between the seat and go, I passed this, I don't know what I'm going to do with it, I'm scared. He's just got it. So he's going to make that up to me about, so you don't think you've done anything bad with it.
I understand that.
But he's worried about you using on yourself.
I never like that.
And you didn't hand it to me, and why would you do that? I mean, why would you say that? But, I mean, why would you, you're not in trouble for it. He's worried about it.
He knew that it was missing before. I'm sure that's why I said that.
He knew it was been missing. What? How do you know has it been brought up in this conversation? About, I mean, how did it come up in conversation?
I was complaining about my granddad blaming me for taking Noah, and he heard it.
Does no one heard or?
Alex was telling Noah, and my granddad was concerned because that's how his father took his life, was for the young. He doesn't know where it was. I understand the concern everyone has, but I don't have to know.
Where is he?
I do not know.
You understand that for us? Alex has no reason to lie about something like that.
Yeah, but I'm telling you, I don't know where it's at.
I understand that. But he said that you showed him the gun. You told him that you had it. And you told him that you got it from Granddad.
I don't have to know.
I understand that.
I don't know why he would say that. But like I said, I told him I was talking to him about it, telling him that I don't like, I mean, I've done it to myself to be on this kind of watch that I'm on with everybody, but I was just complaining about it because even though I tried to kill myself someday, I did it by means of what I thought would knock me out and kill me while I was asleep. I could never use a gun to kill myself.
But Isaac and Noah said that they've never seen you with the gun and never heard you talk about the gun.
I definitely thought to know about that.
So you're saying that Alex is just absolutely making this up, that you pulled out, that you all went to the store and you pull over on the side of the road and you show him the gun, and you said, I've had this for a while, you pulled in the driveway wherever you were, and you showed the gun and you showed him the gun, and you said, I've had this for a while, I'm not sure what I'm going to do with it.
Never had a gun, so I could have had it for a while, and I don't know what I'm going to do with it because I don't have it.
Do you remember the conversation you had with Noah Sunday night? Late Sunday night?
I don't know.
Well, either or. When you called him? Late Sunday night?
How late?
You told me, did you talk to him late Sunday night?
I don't recollect. I may have, I don't remember doing that.
Let me ask you this, do you take the medications, prescribed medications? Have you used any narcotics in the last week or two? And I'm not trying to get you to do something, so I say, I'm going to look up something and arrest you for using drugs. That's all I hear, okay? Okay. And that was what? Okay. And when you say I smoked, I'm saying,
Unless about the contracts on Sunday.
Gotcha. So Sunday night, you got along in a conversation. Do you know what the conversation is?
I don't remember calling you.
You remember having a conversation with Noah about him?
I mean, in the house, yeah.
Okay, tell me what that conversation was.
It was just about my grandfather complaining about, or thinking that I stole it, and then saying that he doesn't think that when I know that, like, he knows that, I'm letting him know about it.
That's good. Do you ever remember having a conversation with Noah about getting fingerprints off the gun? How to get fingerprints off the gun? Okay. So when we talk to Noah, Noah tells us that you called him around 12:30.
Yeah, okay. Yes, I do remember that. It was from my roommate, though. I told him that my roommate had asked me a question about rifles and such like that. And he's like, how do you clean smudges and like oil and fingerprints off guns? And I was like, I don't know.
And you're having this conversation at 12:30 at night?
Well, I called him out because I've been upset about all the stuff that had been going on with how everything got come with me.
Who are you having a conversation with about the about the fingerprints and all that? You said there was a friend of yours asking about how to get fingerprints.
My roommate, yeah.
Which is what your name is,
Walker.
Walker one.
I don't know the last name.
Sean, you were with last night?
He's never there.
Okay. So when did you and Walker have this conversation?
It was when I got back to the dorm, and my homework, and realized that I was involved in my house. He was watching videos on YouTube or something like that, and just, I don't know, he's weird. He's just a weird person. He just asked me.
But you said Sunday night that you left Noah's around 11.
Yeah.
You went back to campus, you said you had to run 11:45
Called him from next one.
from Max Phone.
After that, it was about 12:15 or so, we got to my room. And that's when I realized, even though I've been logged in on my grandparents' laptop, so I had to drop back there,
So,
and he asked me,
so Walker's there when you get there.
yes.
And so you come in at 11:45, you make phone calls, get back to the one you said around 12:15,
Yeah, my room.
and Walker's there. So how do you have a conversation when you come in at 12:15 about how to get fingerprints on?
No, it wasn't a conversation with him. I walked in there, and I was about to get on my laptop, so I was in there for maybe 5 minutes, and then realized that I had to go back to log myself out with my Merritt college email address. Because I needed my email for his homework. And he was laying on bed, watching videos or something. His brother was asleep on the air mattress in the middle of the floor. And he was like, hey, I have this rifle or whatever. I was just wondering. Or he didn't say, I was just wondering, but that's the gist of it. He was like, you know how to get smudges and stuff off like the barrel, the handle, the butt, all that. And I was like, what do you mean smudges? And he was like your fingerprints and the oil and dirt and all that. And I was like, I don't know. And when I called Noah upset about that, I told Noah on the phone when I asked him that question, he was like, it's a really sketchy question to ask. And I was like, I know, but you're the first person on the phone, so I figured I would just ask you.
So you got no one at 12:30? So somewhere on.
Somewhere around there.
And then you went back to your grandparents?
Yes, I walked out with the laptop.
Come back in campus around the morning, and see you sat in the car and waited for 2 or 3 hours.
And just cried.
And why was that?
I just said, because, she wasn't going to come back, and I've always gotten her to come back in the past, and I was just sleepwalking everything, so I couldn't see everything. The only thing I could send her messages on was Twitter, and so I told her to send that message around the morning.
You ever saw you in your car?
I don't know. I was looking at my phone all the time, looking at pictures of us.
For 3 hours?
2.5 maybe. I mean, I just sat there and cried. I've done that before. It wasn't just a rare occasion for me to do that, but multiple times in the past, I'll just go alone in my car and just cry.
You are the Eagles, did you know?
Yes.
Have you ever had any disturbance or anything with the Eagles?
Disturbances.
Have you always been in a parking lot or anything like that?
Yeah, I don't remember what day it was. It was a week, maybe a week and a half ago. I remember when she was going to work because she had done the same thing she did when she was a lot of video and she had done. And I went there and I thought I was trying to just get her a reason with me.
And I mean, every time I talk to somebody, the guns come up, the Eagles, and they go far. You turn over the gun, they're saying, I got a gun, I don't know what else to have you, anything like that.
It was far from me.
Not there, but have you done that before?
No, I've never done that.
Okay, so you did do this. Why is it that the guns coming up on anything that we're talking about? I mean, why does people say that you may have a gun?
I don't know.
I mean, they're your friends, I mean, they're your boys, they're your peeps. Why would they keep telling me that you have a gun? I mean, help me understand that.
I don't know.
I don't understand. I mean, and I can understand, we've been sitting here talking for a couple hours now, I mean, the way you're feeling, the kidnappings, it sounds like y'all went into a hard time, or whatever. I can understand you kind of wanting to have something in your hands of protection or whatever. But I don't see when your friend Alex tells me that there's something being some kind of truth to it. There's a little bit of truth somewhere in there. I need to find that. Just help me do that. You're not in trouble with the gun. We just need to find it.
I can't be any more honest than what I did.
So there's nothing. Alex, Isaac, and Noah, that's your three best friends.
3 of them, yes.
I mean, so you spent the weekend with Noah forever close. Okay. So why would those three, your best friends, tell me?
I don't know.
Are they liars? Are they dishonest?
Everybody's a liar.
No, necessarily.
Everybody lies. I don't know why they lie or why they got that common misconception that
Would
I'm
one of them have it?
the gun.
Yeah.
No.
You don't think one of them have it? Would somebody in your circle have it?
Nobody can get to it. My grandfather always kept it under his car or under his bed.
So if anybody had it, it had to be, I mean, besides somebody, if anybody had it around here, it had to be somebody in your family or something, right? So if anything was, if the gun number, it had to be somewhere down in there, if it's right.
Yes. As it, I mean, the only way you can get to it is with keys or be like in our house and go upstairs under his bed.
But nobody else has had access to it besides the police down in that Merritt, correct? And we're not sure exactly what happened.
Yes.
Right, I mean, we don't know if that's exactly what happened, if it's there.
Yes.
So, if we want to finally get what we look, you think? What if there's rounds or something that's from that gun around here? How would they get here? If it was taken from Merritt, or if it was taken from Merritt College?
What do you mean? Rounds around.
I mean, if it's anything, I mean, if there's
Here's the We have a gun that lost your grandfather that is missing. Okay? We have all your friends saying that you've been talking about this gun. We have one of your friends saying that he saw you with the gun, that you showed him the gun, and that you told him you got it from your grandfather. Okay?
Okay.
I find it hard to believe that these guys are just making this shit up. And understand, you know, to prosecute you for stealing the gun, your grandfather would have to agree to that. He'd have to say, yeah, I want you to go to jail for taking my gun. I don't think your grandfather's going to do that. Right? I understand that's what you're saying.
Yeah.
And I believe that you believe that.
I believe it's true.
Okay, I don't doubt that it is. But I've got your friends saying otherwise.
I don't have anything else to say. I told you the truth for me. I think it's going to be the same question. That's the same answer.
Well, I mean, do you understand our position? Why it's hard for us to believe you?
Yeah, when all of my brothers saying different, but I'm telling you the truth from my perspective and what I know. I just don't know where it's at, and I haven't touched it, so that's pushing me right into bed.
Okay. Wow.
And am I suspect in her passing?
Should you?
I'm asking, that's one of the reasons why I'm here.
Well, let me tell you this. We recovered some rounds, and those rounds happened to match the same type of ammunition that your grandfather uses in his gun.
So you didn't actually
And I didn't say that. I said we have recovered some rounds, and those rounds are the same type of rounds that your grandfather uses in his gun. Okay?
I'm saying
So my question to you is, and I understand, Charlie, you know, you go back in the past, we can't change anything. Okay? Right? You know, what's done is done. All you can do is move forward. So if I am able to find your grandfather's gun, and I'm not saying you haven't, I'm just saying, if I am able to find your grandfather's gun, then I can match that to these rounds that I found and determine whether or not that gun and these rounds are actually from the same place. Does that make sense?
yes.
So you understand the importance of why I need to find this gun, not only for your safety, because you admitted that you made threats that you wanted to harm yourself. You said that you tried to commit suicide. I believe you. I understand that. But you have. Correct? So, help me.
I'm helping you.
Okay. I understand that. You know, the thing of it is, your timeline, while it's somewhat consistent, still has holes in it. And one of the things I don't understand is you say you sat in the car for 3 hours and left.
Yeah,
Let me ask you, did you call anybody during that time? Any friends or family or anything like that? Text anybody? Anybody text you? You were calling? Can we get your phone and look at your phone?
I don't know.
What do you mean?
I don't know if that's a question.
It's actually a yes or no question.
I mean, like right now.
Do you have it with you?
That's what I'm saying, it's back to the house.
If we followed you back to the house, would you be willing to let us look at the phone and see if this information matches up on the timeline?
Yeah, we should.
And you're willing to let us look at that phone and try to determine from phone calls you made and phone calls you received that this timeline is solid?
Well, no, because you asked me for ballpark times, I'm just giving you the estimate.
I'm not saying it's going to be exact, but if I look at your phone, it should be somewhat consistent with the information you give me.
Correct. But I don't remember.
I understand that. I'm not trying to say that you're not giving me good information or correct information. I understand that the times are off because we're saying 11-ish, sometime around 11:30 or 12:30. But if you've got a phone and you've got calls coming in and going out, it's going to date and timestamp those calls, correct?
Correct.
So then that would help us better establish the timeline, correct?
I thought we were on the gun.
We are.
So the timeline is everything.
Sure. Because your friends are saying on these specific times and dates, you showed them the gun. You talked to them about the gun.
I'm not showing you on the gun. I don't have
And I understand that, but I'm just saying, they're telling us that you call them, that you talk to them, this, that, the other. If I can look at your phone and say, Noah told us this, but that don't match your phone, so Noah's bullshit, he's telling us a lie. Alex said that you call him and talk to him at this certain time, and that information's not on your phone.
It wouldn't be on my phone because we're talking to God. And when I talk to her, it's in the house. So now the phone call.
Who's you talking about?
Alex. Not my driveway, but the driveway. And when I talked to her in the house, I was talking about the gun, and that's when Alex heard it. And when I called her on the phone, it was probably around 1 something.
But you understand where I'm coming from, that the phone would give us a better timeline as far as where you were at and what you did and all that, consistent with what you told us.
Yes.
So if you have a problem, if I go with you and look at your phone and get this, try to better establish this timeline to rule you out of all this bullshit.
I don't know how I should answer the question.
Well, it's yes or no question. If you are willing to allow me to look at your phone to better qualify and make more solid the timeline, or you don't want to.
And if I say no,
It's yes or no question. I mean, if you don't want me to look at it, I understand.
well, just if I say no, then it puts me in more of a position that you think I'm not telling the truth.
No.
I mean, that's fine. Then I just feel like I'm being badgered with questions that I'm
I'm not trying to badger you with questions. You understand? I'm trying to help you, because if I can make solid your timeline and rule out the fact that Alex and Noah and all these guys are saying all this stuff, then the better off you're going to be.
I understand, but how would that rule out if I talked to them in person? That would show nothing on the
Right, but they're saying that there are text messages and phone calls to and from that's going to help establish your timeline.
text messages
Between you, Alex, Noah, Isaac,
not until we help the timeline.
okay?
But the only call that you could look at that would help the timeline is the call that I make note of when I ask you about murder and ask those questions. So it wouldn't help.
Can we look at the phone and see what that call was?
I don't know how that would help, is what I'm getting at.
You just said that it would help, because
So
that's,
you want to see my phone for a single call?
well, if that's going to help you, why wouldn't you show it to me?
Because you're asking me to see other things. When I don't know, because the times I'm giving you are
Well, let me ask you this. Have you made phone calls on your phone throughout the week?
Yes.
Have you made phone calls on your call? Have you made text messages on your phone throughout the weekend?
Of course.
So if I looked at your phone, I would better be able to establish your timeline and consistency with what you told me, correct?
Yes, you want my phone.
Okay. That's all I want to do, is try to make sure I'm trying to get that timeline established. That's all I'm trying to do.
So just follow me back to the house and I'll bring my phone out and give it to you.
I actually have to go in with you to retrieve the phone.
No, I'm saying like, if you follow me to the house, you're coming with me.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. He's back there. Something, you said something about your granddaddy accused you or thought you'd taken him. And the reason I ask that is, are y'all okay, mad at you, or you?
No, he tells me that he believes me, but I know that he doesn't. Because I've tried to kill myself before, so he's worried about me doing what they're going to do. That's the main reason. concerned, so he wants to make sure I don't have it, which I don't, I am not having it.
We well established that.
I think I was looking at it, I don't have it.
He had that development, or he seems to carry on last year. Yeah. Well, that's wrong, you don't be on our issues. And did you say you were a sister? Yeah. Yeah, well, as best as brothers and little sisters feel, I was a little brother and an older brother, so, how old is your sister?
9.
Oh, wow, so she's not, yeah. She's a young. Okay. Well, they can be back in here to show them
Now, you read my rights, and anything that I said can be used in court if I go to court, correct? So, me telling you that I smoked, is that going to affect anything?
Well, I'm not trying to, it's a good question, and it's a valid question, because I'm not trying to get you here to trick you into admitting something you didn't do. I'm not here to try to get you to admit smoking marijuana or anything like that, so that, again, I can put some kind of bullshit charge on you, okay? I am trying to, one, find where your grandfather's gun is, if at all possible, try to recover your grandfather's gun, okay? And then, of course, we've got this whole Emma thing in the background because you had heard these today.
What I could care less about you thinking I have a gun or anything, but I hope to God I'm not a suspect in her death.
Did I say you were?
I hope you don't think it, because I wouldn't hurt that girl for, I would hurt myself if I let her represent what I've done.
Well, I know, have everybody drinks her?
Never.
Like verbally
Like verbally saying I hurt you.
Yeah, like, yeah.
I don't know, you can never tell me there's a lot of things. The only thing that comes to looking closer to even getting at bottom is me saying you regret it is something like that. I mean, like, you regret, like, leaving me and like, I'm like, I'm going to get you out of this now. But never have I said, I'm going to hurt you.
Have you ever got a fight, like physical fight? She ever hit you? You ever get hurt?
We were playing five like couples do.
And I thought I had it in
Never physical goodness and abuse.
Yeah, I want to express real quick. Look here, we need to find out, this is what we need, we're asking for your help, all right? Outside the house, the house was shot up a couple rounds, all right? The rounds that were found out there, hold on, the rounds that were found out there came from your grandfather's gun, because there was a misdeed, and one of the ones, you know what a misdeed is? Okay. Then there's another, there's a misdeed gun, so something was racked, and the round, the whole round came out. Also, the two other shells, which had thumbprints on, right? And they come back to that gun, and your grandmother's thumbprint. So whoever's got that gun is the one who's got to shoot that house up.
I don't know what you're on to.
Who would want to take your grandfather's gun and take it to their house and shoot at that house? You know anybody who want to do that?
I don't know anyone who's ever going to have that room.
I'm not saying that, I'm not saying it's trying to hurt her. I know it's somebody trying to scare her, so I'm not saying that that's what's happened over there. But I'm saying that the house was shot.
No, I don't know anyone that would want to do that.
Your grandfather, your mom, anybody? Anybody mad because of what's going on? They're not letting, their parents not letting them foresee it? I mean, I can tell your family cares about you. There's somebody, I mean,
Well, I don't know if my family they would just walk in the house and shoot. So no, none of my family and would assume me my president would either.
so now we're just trying to figure out how, I mean, you don't understand why.
I do, and I'm just going to keep giving you the same answer. I don't know where we're going with this.
Did you shoot into his house?
No, sir.
thank you for coming in and talking to us. I do appreciate that.
And it will be the 23rd, 2058.
Detective Merritt, you did discuss, obviously, a lot of the communication issues, and you've already told the jury with regard to that exhibit that we have, the map exhibit. The last communication from Riley Gaul's phone was when? That night that Emma died?
Yes, it was, I would say around 11:45 that night.
Okay. And the 12:29 call, who was, that you, on his way back to Knoxville, who was that to?
The 12:29, I believe, is to number Walton.
Okay, and was that the last communication?
Yes, yes.
Okay, with regard to Emma's phone and your analysis of that, the jury's already seen the communication between Max Siegel. Was that the last communication on Emma's phone as well?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And with regard to your review of his phone as well, we talked a little bit about his knowledge of the location inside the house. Did you find any video evidence on his phone that assisted you in determining whether or not he'd have any information about the insides of the house and specifically her bedroom?
Yes, there were videos of him and her in the bedroom. There were also photos of him and her in the residence in the bedroom.
Okay. Did you also make a note of the final video that was contained on Mr. Gaul's phone?
Sorry, the final video?
Final video, time-stamped video in his video collection on his phone?
Yes.
And what date was that video observed or viewed?
It's been a year and a half, counsel. I'm not sure I recall exactly when that was. I do recall the video. It was a video of Arnold Schwarzenegger. I want to say it was around the 22nd, around the 22nd, 23rd, somewhere in there.
You want me to approach? Riley Gaul seated here in the courtroom, Detective Merritt.
Is he, yes, sir, he's to take over the white
Record.
t-shirt or white golf shirt.
Record reflect he's also identified the defendant. We'll pass him this.
Detective Merritt, what we've just reviewed on the video interview, that was on November 21st, is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And by that time, you had already talked to Alex, Noah, and Isaac? Okay. And at that time, you were aware that Riley was 18 years old?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And you said in that interview that you were trying to establish a timeline, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And you were actually more interested in trying to find out about this gun, were you not?
It was a two-part thing, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. And you did not believe Riley about that gun, did you?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
You did not believe Riley about what he told you about that gun?
I didn't believe Riley about the gun, no, sir.
You didn't believe Riley about his timeline?
A lot of things I didn't believe, sir, about that interview, but that is one of them.
Now, you've not been out to do any particular testing with the firearm that's been introduced here in this trial at the Emma Walker residence?
Have I tested the firearm?
Yes.
In the Walker residence?
Yes. You've not done that?
I've not tested that firearm at all, sir. It's done by the TBI, that in action.
You've not, that was going to be my next question. You've not done any particular testing as it relates to the firearm that's been introduced in this trial?
That is correct, sir. All I did was recover the firearm, send it to forensics, and it was transported from forensics to Nashville, where it was tested by TBI. They sent back their final report along with the firearm. It was placed back in the forensics.
And that's the only testing you're aware of being done on that particular firearm?
Yes, sir, that's my understanding.
You familiar with a lot of FaceTime? You familiar with the FaceTime app?
FaceTime app?
Yes.
I'm familiar with it. I'm not a...
Are you an iPhone user? And you're familiar that one of the ways that Riley and Emma would communicate would be through FaceTime?
Yes, sir, it is one of those.
Now, be fair to say that at no time did you monitor phone calls with Riley Gaul?
Can you clarify that?
Yeah, that's probably not a good question. We've heard a recorded phone call from the jail, right?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay. And then, but as far as law enforcement actually putting wiretaps or anything on any of Riley's phones, that's not happening.
No, sir, we don't do that. That takes it's a huge process for Title III wiretap, so.
Where are these exhibits? You actually went out and, did you talk to Max Siegel or did Mr. Hurst talk to Max Siegel?
I believe Mr. Hurst, if I recall correctly, Detective James Hurst did the interview with Max City.
You reviewed that interview?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Basically, as the detectives go out and interview certain people, they come back, we would sit down, they would basically give me an overview of what was said, comments, statements, things of that nature.
So this has been introduced as Exhibit 43. As it's an extraction report from Emma's phone with communications from Max Siegel's phone. You agree with that?
Just say,
Yeah, absolutely.
yes, sir, that's my understanding.
Okay. And you see a lot of that on there is by FaceTime as well, correct? A lot of the communications are attempted communications.
Yes, sir.
And most all of those are going from Max's phone on November 20th to Emma's phone.
That would be my understanding.
And if you look at number 59, tell us about what you see there.
It's an outgoing.
So that would be outgoing from Emma's phone, right?
Yes, sir, that's my understanding.
And which way would it be going?
Beg your pardon?
Who's it going to, Max Siegel?
That is the number that is good.
And what time is that phone call?
Number 59 is 11/21/2016 at 12:09:02 a.m.
And it was by FaceTime?
And also that's, 59 does not reflect that it was from FaceTime, it's the source.
Okay. This is a direct call.
That would be my understanding, sir.
If it's not a FaceTime, it'd just be a regular call, right?
That would be my understanding, sir.
Do you remember talking to a Leighton Wade?
I do, sir.
And as part of that, interview, that was on February 7th, 2017.
I don't recall, sir, but if that's what the record reflects, then I would agree with that.
Let's just go ahead and get there if we can. Can you switch it over to
Is everybody on the block?
Yes, Judge, I'm on board.
It's not there.
Yeah, a little audio too? Maybe that was it, sorry.
All right, today's date's February 7th, 2017, time is 4:06 p.m. Myself, Detective Alan Merritt, Fox County Sheriff's Office, will be speaking with Leighton Wade. Leighton, what's your...
Judge, I guess I'm going to object to Mr. Frank hearsay if he's trying to get a statement of Mr. Wade.
No, it's not. No, it's not. I just try to refresh his memory when that particular interview was, February 7th, 2017.
Yes, sir.
And by that time, you had already arrested Mr. Gaul. I think you arrested him on November 22nd, 2016.
Yes, sir, that'd be correct.
And during that particular interview with Mr. Wade, you told him you didn't know what Riley's thoughts were. You don't know what his intentions were. You agree with that?
Without hearing the interview, I would agree with that. I'm not sure what context that was in without hearing the interview.
Do you agree that at the time you met with Leighton Wade that you told him, I don't know what his thoughts were, I don't know what his intentions were?
Repeat that, please.
Do you agree that on February 7, 2017, that when you were meeting with Leighton Wade that you told him, I don't know what his thoughts were, I don't know what his intentions were?
That would probably be consistent, sir. I'm not sure what anyone's thoughts or intentions are.
Okay. And so you also described the relationship to Leighton, that Emma and Riley's relationship was a kind of a crazy relationship. You'd agree with that?
I may have, sir, yes.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure of the exact verbiage, sir. Like I said, it's been some time ago. If that's what's in the interview, then I would agree with
I guess I'm going to object to the relevance of the detective's characterizations of what anything was in this case. It doesn't have anything to do with what Mr. Gaul did, Judge.
I think he's the lead detective on the case. I think what he says is,
What is your explanation?
if he, after his investigation, concluded that the relationship with Riley and Emma was a pretty crazy relationship.
What was the question again, Mr. Stein?
Did you describe, in speaking with Mr. Wade on February 7, 2017, the relationship between Emma and Riley as being a kind of crazy relationship?
Probably did, sir.
You'd agree that it was?
I have my own description of the relationship, sir.
I understand. As part of your investigation, Mr. Merritt, you also came into receipt of the notebook that we've introduced as Exhibit 11, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
And that was one she had found in Emma's bedroom.
That is correct.
And then also, you came into possession a black and chrome Apple iPod cell phone, and you agree with that?
I don't recall the type of phone, sir, but I do recall receiving two different electronic devices from Jim Walker.
Okay. And you would have retrieved those on January 13th, 2017? If I've got your report here if you need to, or the...
Sir, if you've got the report and that's what it says, that would be accurate.
I'll just show you. This is page 7 of the report. You recognize that?
Yes, sir. This is how our forensics division logs and tracks evidence.
On January 11, 2017, you came in possession of one cell phone.
Yes, sir.
And then on January 13, 2017, you collected from a bedroom chest of drawers, one white Apple iPhone and one black and chrome Apple iPod cell phone. Would you agree with me that by the time of the interview that we've just watched, that it was pretty public knowledge that Emma Walker had passed away?
Yes, sir. Well, I don't know. I can't speak for the public, sir. I don't know what they've watched, seen, or heard on TV or social media.
These events occurred, I mean, Ms. Walker testified at 6:15 she found her daughter that morning, right?
That's correct.
And then you're interviewing him, I can't remember the time of that interview. Well, you remember the time of that particular interview?
That's right.
Was it later in the day, later up?
Yeah, I believe I recall it being later in the afternoon, sometime after lunch and before 5 p.m.
Just if I can try to locate one exhibit in there. Should have been introduced as Exhibit 45. You recognize it as a partial record of Riley's cell phone.
Sir, I think every exhibit that has anything to do with the cell phones is partial. We've printed the entire
707. Right. About 707 pages.
That would, yeah, somewhere in that neighborhood.
if I get this to work. Can you give me the first coordinate for that 2000 phone call on that record, which would be latitude?
I'm assuming you mean the one circled in red, so is that correct? I believe they reversed the latitude and longitude. You want the 83.96 or the 36.00?
Give me the second number first.
36.0077.
All right, the next number.
Next number is 83.96116.
I think that 83 got a negative in it.
I'm sorry, it does. My apologies, sir. Should be negative 83.96116. Focus, Margaret.
So here we are again at, you see this yellow marker that's on this map,
I do, sir.
and that's the coordinates you just given me.
That's correct, sir.
And so that position on Fennell Road and ELYRA Drive, that is a coordinate that would be east of 275-75.
Yes, sir, that's the cell tower location.
Okay. And if we move up a little bit, we see Cedar Lane running right here, is that correct?
Yes, sir, I believe that's correct.
And if we move in a little closer, you know what this establishment is right here?
I believe it's a gas station on the corner of Merchants, and Cedar Lane Central.
And that would be an Applebee's right here.
Yes, sir.
And that would be near the intersection of Cedar Lane and Merchants, correct?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Also be on Central Avenue Pike.
That is correct.
Would you agree with me that the two locations we talked about, this cell phone tower here and Applebee's here are on this particular map?
Mr. Stone, I can't understand you, sir.
I'm sorry, well, you'd agree with me that the two locations that we talked about are here, this Applebee's here and this pen here are on this particular image?
Yes, sir, I would agree with that.
351. If you would, Detective Merritt, I know it's somewhat small there, if you could just take this blue Sharpie and circle in the area where the Applebee's was. You see the yellow pin down here, little right here? Absolutely.
Just mine, so you're fine.
That's fine.
I'm sorry, I thought you were asking.
No, that's good. Move it in 31, or 351, Judge. Now, if we could, again, here we are with Applebee's is here, correct?
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna back out a little bit. Tell me when you can see the Sturkey Hills neighborhood. It's in here.
Yeah, it is. Yes, sir.
So there's Cardinal, Paxton, you see all those different roads
Yes, sir.
there.
Yes, sir. I forgot it.
Thank you, Detective Merritt. Just briefly, when you were just talking about the time of the interview ending, were you referring to Leighton Wade's interview or the defendant's interview? when you're talking about discussing the time the interview ended?
I thought we were talking about ladies interview.
Okay, so the interview with the defendant, in this case, ended somewhere close to midnight?
Yes, sir.
And if Detective Hurst signed it off at the end at 23:58, that would be
That starts out, I believe it's 23:58, 11:58 p.m.
2 minutes before midnight.
That's correct.
That's all.
No further questions, thanks for the clarification.
All right, step down, thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
John, the final exhibit that we'd have is exhibit number 324. We had a running exhibit of trial photos. These are the digital images of every photo that's been introduced through witnesses. That's exhibit number 324. We'd move that in, digital copy of photos.
Very well, thank you. Received and noted.
Your Honor, the state rests.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, the statement rests in this case in chief. That means there are a couple of matters I have to take up outside your presence. Please go with the officer. You can be seated.
Judge, I'm going to tell the court, based on discussions I had with the state, I thought they would be calling either or both Steve McFalls or Angelia Daniels, and I've got a series of phone reports that I need to introduce through one or both of those individuals, so I think that that's something that I just bring to the court's attention. I've never met Mr. McFalls. I've seen some of his work and things of that nature, but
Are they here?
I don't know, but I've got them under subpoena. I subpoenaed both Angelia Daniels and Stephen McFalls, so.
Let's do the Rule 29 motion in a moment and get those things out of the way. We'll take a recess. If you find them, you want to call them, so we can.
I think you can call it.
Your Honor, we will move pursuant to Rule 29, the Tennessee Rules of Criminal Procedure for judgment of acquittal as it relates to all counts. And particularly, Judge, I understand that the standard on Rule 29 motions is viewed in a light most favorable to the state of Tennessee. I get that. I would like to renew some issues that we did raise pre-trial on motions to dismiss as it relates to counts 2 and count 7, both of which charge that Mr. Gaul recklessly caused serious bodily injury as a result of especially aggravated stalking in count 2, and this felony murder during the attempt to perpetrate aggravated child abuse. Judge, it's our position that serious bodily injury has been statutorily defined by the state of Tennessee, and it does not include death, and so it's our position that those should be summarily dismissed pursuant to Rule 29. Recognize again that the standard on Rule 29 motions for judgment of acquittal are viewed in a light most favorable to the state, so we do ask the court to consider all the evidence and enter judgments of acquittal as it relates to the other counts. Except count 5, Judge. I mean, we pled guilty to that, so.
Thank you. You don't use your time.
Just that we feel I've met our burden, Judge, based on the standards.
All right, as counsel says, it is the court is required to look at the case in the light most favorable to the prosecution at this point. And certainly there's been an admission that the defendant did not what it's boiled down to a state of mind issue, a factual issue being resolved by the jury. That this court has determined before that in the context of this case, serious bodily injury does include death. I know that there are some areas of the law where there's reasons to go wrong, but this court's opinion that this area of the law doesn't. And certainly, these statutes, they're ordinary, lead words, they're ordinary meanings, serious bodily injury. For those reasons, the court doesn't expect to be denied the motion to judge the court.
think I need a little break to talk with him before we make that decision.
Okay, he doesn't have to announce whether he's going to testify or not. I just need to make sure he understands he has the right to testify, he's not to testify, he can talk about it.
I mean, I'm prepared to do that part of it, but
That's all we need to do right now.
okay.
Let's go do that.
You want to do him under oath?
No, you don't need to be on that.
Mr. Gaul, you want me to conduct this, Your Honor? Yes. Can he stay seated here? Can he stay seated? Mr. Gaul, you understand that you have a right to testify? And you understand you have a right to not testify? And you understand that nobody can make you or force you to testify? You understand this? Your own decision, your own free will? And you also understand that that if you chose to testify, that you can be subject to the same cross-examination as any other witness. You also understand that if you chose not to testify, that the judge will tell the jury that the jury can place no significance on that decision. And we've talked about the advantages and disadvantages of testifying. And you know now we're at the point where you will have to make a decision. We'll talk about that a little bit more. You have to make a decision right now, but you understand we're in the process of about to make that decision. Any other questions?
I think we covered it. All right, we'll take about a 10 to 15 minute recess and start the defense.
All rise. Court's in recess.